I
Oh,
thought we would consider, reflect on belief systems,
ah,
because partly because of the COVID thing. Now, I was taught, it's your belief system. If you believe that you can catch a cold or you can catch a disease, then you can. But I was taught I am safe from all harm. And I have to get this off. I saved it. It Synchronicity is so amazing. It's happened all day today. But I put it in my notes. Oh no, it's in my screensaver. Give me 1 second to get it up here. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, okay. This was actually at my client's on the refrigerator. He's a man. He's in his 80s. He's a veteran. He's a guitar player. He's an artist. He's got beautiful artwork. All these creative people I get to work with, two of them, two clients have been piano players, teachers, and performers. It's like, okay, I'm getting the message. So, um, no, that's not the one. Oh dear, where'd it go? It was the Bible verse about being safe from all harm. Oh, I took a picture of it. That's what I did. I'm sorry. I've held you up here. Here it is. Okay. And I'll send this to you because it's pretty calligraphy, but it says the Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. And that's in the Bible, Psalm 121 verse 7. So for people who are more loyal to the Christian faith, if you want proof that I am safe from all harm, don't believe me, it's in your Bible. Okay. So, but if you believe that, then you are. But if you don't believe it, if you don't accept that as your truth, then it's not going to happen. So if you work with this for like a long time and you keep that belief, you don't get sick ever. I haven't been sick since the 70s, except for food poisoning, which I guess that's where my belief system is, where it can happen to me. So I have to reflect on that. But so it was amazing that I had already considered having a theme of belief systems when I was at this client's today, and I wasn't supposed to be there. She switched me so that I was there today instead of another client. And I'm cleaning up in the kitchen. I look at his refrigerator, and here this is. So you got a fly there, Jean? So I thought that was really appropriate because um, we are safe from all harm if we believe it, if we accept that as our truth. So between that and another quotation, it's by Eric Fromm. You know who he is, right? I think he was a psychologist from, I think he came before um, Carl Jung. But he says the quest for certainty blocks the search for meaning. Uncertainty is the very condition to impel man to unfold his powers. So it's a little bit different from belief systems, but I guess believing that you have to have control and certainty in your life all the time, it's a little bit similar. So I just thought it was kind of interesting with all the synchronicity. And there was more today, but I don't want to take up your time with that. So we'll just work with some good yoga. And do you have any body parts that you want to address particularly today? Neck and shoulders. Okay. Low back. All right. Okay. Well, we'll start with centering. And so our belief systems help us to create our reality. So it also behooves us with what's going on in the world today, and especially our own country, to believe, just believe in the good that's coming, okay, and feel comfortable with that and uh, content. So just closing your eyes and relaxing a little bit into the present moment. Become aware of your breath and notice the pace, your rhythm. Notice how your mind is in this moment. Is it busy with electricity, lots of thoughts, or just how is it for you? Are there any emotions that want to be recognized that you can determine in this moment? Anything underlying? And then checking in with your body, just a little scan from head to toe, kind of scrolling down from your crown. See if there are any sensations, any tight muscles that you hadn't become aware of yet. And we'll use the affirmation, I am safe from all harm. I am safe from all harm, and I truly believe that to my deepest core. And then just bringing palms together for our attunement to breath. Breathe as you lift arms overhead. You can count to 4 if you want. And exhale to 8 if that works for you to help you pace your breath. And one more round. All right. And just stretch your legs out in front of you. Shake them out a little bit. Windshield wipers. Shoulders just circle around a couple times. Reverse. All right. Just swing your legs around and come into a puppy stretch. Notice your shoulders and your spine as you bring your sternum towards the floor. Lengthen and stretch. And then come forward. We'll work with the low back a little bit here. And just bring your hips forward and hang in traction for a few breaths as you lengthen away from your knees. And then roll side to side slowly, especially at first. Pull away from your hip, shoulder away from your hip. This does stretch the psoas pretty well, I think. It feels like it to me anyway. So come back to center. Pull back once again into a puppy stretch. Lengthen in your spine. And then lift up, just coming into table pose here. Bring your right hand in center under your sternum, and then take your left hand out, lift up, and come into a stretch and twist. And then just replace with your left hand. Breathe as you lift your right arm into a twist. And then come back down. Come forward and just lengthen out your left leg. Stretch through the heel. Lengthen your calf. Come up onto your toes. and press up into plank and switch legs. Stretching your right calf muscle. Come up. Okay. Now just bring your hips down and just lie on your mat. I'm going to be sideways, but you can be forward back on your mat. We'll work with our abdominal muscles here. We'll start with a lengthening stretch. Just breathe and lift your arms up overhead. Let them relax down towards the floor, opening the shoulder, just passively stretching there. Bring the back of your neck, just stretch it down towards the floor for a moment. Draw your low back down to the floor. Engage your core muscles. Press through your heels as you flex your feet and reach a little bit more. Press your heels away more. Really lengthen through fingertips and heels and low back. And just a little crossing over the midline of the body. Lift your right arm and your left leg. Just a little touch and alternate. Right leg, left arm, right arm, left leg. And last one, switch and release. All right, now just overlap your hands on the back of your head. Bring your both feet onto the floor and roll your hips under so that your low back can press down against the mat. See if you can get it all the way down, if it'll stretch all the way onto the mat so that there's no arch. So you have to curl your hips under, tilt. Now reverse that and press down on your tailbone and lift your back up off the floor, just rolling up. Take in a breath. Exhale and roll it down. Now just stretch out your right leg. Bring your left knee up and bring your right elbow over. Now, the temptation will be to bend your arm and bring it to that knee. But what you really want to do for an ultimate abdominal contraction is to lift but turn in your body and keep the arm. You may not touch, and that's not the object. What you want is that contraction in the abs. So you can turn and then switch. So it's kind of like the bicycles, but we're not bringing the elbow in. We're bringing the elbow to the knee, lifting. So if you need to stop and take a little break, that's fine. Try to keep the elbows open and use your core. You're feeling a burn yet? All right, take a little rest. Bring both knees in, wrap your arms around, and just roll side to side. Stretch out the back of your neck. I like to pull on my head, making room for it to stretch down. So pulling the chin in, just lengthening the back of the neck. Okay. And just a few rocks side to side, massaging your back. Bring your head up to meet your knees. Taking a breath. And pull in. All right. And then roll back down. Take your arms out for a twist. Palms down, straight out from the shoulders. Taking a breath. And exhale, both knees over to the left, but keep them up under your arm and shoulders on the floor as best as you can. Then your head turns away from your knees. And relax into the pose. Easy twist. Both shoulders on the mat. All right, now take in your breath. Exhale, roll your low back onto the floor. That'll lift your knees up. Inhale. And exhale over to the other side. Keep your knees up under your arm, shoulders on the floor as well as you can. Turn your head away from your knees. It's a good way to stretch your neck. And now breathe as you lower your back down on the floor. You can use your arms too. Coming back. Once again, bring your hands behind your head, just overlapping palms. Uh, Stretch out your left leg this time, and we'll start with the same bicycles. Just bring your left arm to your right knee and switch. So by the end of class, you'll have your six pack all lined up. Oh dear, forgot to turn off my phone. Sorry. All right. So did you keep going? All right. Lifting, using your abdominal muscles, your whole core. Now just speed it up a little bit. Don't be so concerned about your elbows. Just reach. Once more, each leg. All right. Now, knees bent, feet on the floor, arms stretched out towards your thighs. Taking a breath. Let your feet out a little bit. And exhale. See if you can draw up using your abdominal muscles. Swing your legs around to the back. Knees on the floor. We're going to come forward again and stretch the front of our body, stretching the work we just did. So bring your hips forward and side to side. If you want to hold in the stretch when you're at the side, that's fine. Now we'll come into center and hold the stretch there. Just drawing away from the knees. Stretching the diaphragm, solar plexus. Now with legs as close together as they will stay, knees pointing down to the floor, we'll come into our cobra. So just start with lifting your shoulders up. Inhale. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Exhale. Bend your elbows and relax your pubic triangle on the mat. Press it down into the floor. Ground with the earth. Lift the sternum. Shoulder blades down away from your ears. Elbows close to the ribs. Look up. King Cobra. And press up and back. Now to stretch out your back in child's pose. All right. Stretch your arms forward, and we'll use this opportunity to come into our downward facing dog. Toes under and lift. Stretch your heels down. Tilt your hips up. And lift your left leg up into three-legged dog. Reach. Now bend your knee and swing your leg through into sun pose. Stretch the psoas muscles on the, particularly on the back leg. Lift your chin as though looking up, honoring the sun. Now bring the back knee down onto the floor. We'll come up into the high lunge. We'll come back to down dog for the other side in just a moment. But press your palms against your knee. Take in your breath. And exhale, lean forward into a deep lunge. Exhale. Exhale. And hold. Lift your ribs, lift your sternum, chest. Reach the front knee forward, but the hips stay pointing to the front. Okay, now bring your hands back down onto the mat. Turn the back foot onto the floor, so you'll need to lift your hips a little bit, but press the whole foot onto the floor so you have your left knee forward, right leg back, both hands on the floor, but bring that front leg back, cross it over for a side plank. Engage all your muscles. You can look up if you wish. And bring that back down. Uncross your feet, and you're all ready for your downward facing dog on this side. So lift your right leg up, stretch. Shoulders, and bend your knee and swing your leg through for sun pose on this side. Lift your chin, breathe. And then let the back knee down. Come up into your high lunge. Overlap your palms. Take in your breath. Exhale and lunge forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. All right. Okay, bring both hands down. So move your foot towards center line just a little bit and make sure your right hand is under your shoulder. And then lift the back leg and hips and press down on the entire length of your foot so it's perpendicular, making a T shape. And then slide your leg back, cross your foot over the ankle or the top of the foot, and come into your side plank pose. Firm body, contracting muscles, straight line, breathe. And then come back for one more downward facing dog. And then just run your feet in towards your hands. Come in for head to knee. Soften your knees and reverse swan. Lift up. Breathe. Reach. Okay. You'll need to turn sideways on your mat. Because what we're going to do is soften the knees and jump out into five-pointed star. Okay. Lift in the tummy. Turn out for warrior two on this side with your left leg turning forward. Take in your breath. The back heel turns out and bend your knee out into warrior two. Breathe it in. Exhale out, vinyasa. Exhale out. Widen your stance as you need to. Gaze over the fingertips. Bring your arms around behind you, interlace fingers, stretch your arms away. Turn your torso, your hips remain. Turn your torso towards the bent knee and come down into humble warrior. Lift your arms, really press your feet firmly into the ground. And press down in your feet, lift your crown, come back out into warrior two. Breathe the knee in, switch sides. Open. Facing front, the whole front of your body's open. Take in your breath. Exhale and bend your knee out. Inhale it in. Exhale out. Shoulders down. Exhale and hold. The back heel is slightly out, toes in. Open the front knee. Gaze over your fingertips. Open the chest, shoulders. Deepen. Beautiful. Okay. And bring your arms around behind you, interlace fingers, take in a breath. Exhale, stretch your arms away. Turn just in your upper torso. Hips remain as forward as possible and come down for humble warrior. Press firmly into the mat. And press down in your feet. Lift your crown back up into warrior two. Straighten, open the arms out. Straighten both knees, toes in. Bring the feet in just a couple inches on each side. Bend your knees and hop back in. All right, taking a breath. Exhale, shift the weight over to your right foot. Lift the left knee into stork pose, stork arms, stork wings. And we'll expand stork. Inhale, open, and come in for a landing. Ground and center. Breathe. Exhale, shift the weight over to your left. Lift your stork leg on the right. Bring your stork wings out. Use your core. And open. Inhale. And exhale back down with complete control. So do you believe it? You believe in yourself? We train our muscles and body, tune in with our mind. We unify and we create our belief in ourselves. Do we have a leg to stand on? Yes, we do. Leg to stand on, yes. All right, release and separate your feet for our standing twist. And just come back to center. In Tadasana, breathe arms up overhead. Reach up and back for a standing back bend. Elongate your spine, contract in your hips to protect your low back. Lengthen more. And open your arms, press down your feet. Roll back. And exhale, arms down, bring them up. And come forward. Hinge in your hips, arms next to your ears. Lowering down, reach for the floor. Walk your hands forward. Step your right leg back and bend your left knee. Bring it in for pigeon pose, Kapotasana. So just kind of roll around and find your pigeon base. Lift up in your spine. Reach with the back leg and foot. Point your hip bones forward. Lift shoulders down. Now, optional, you can take your left hand and place it on your left knee, straighten the arm, and scoop forward with your right arm, lift it up. Breathe it in and press back. See if you can open the front of your body even more. And then reach forward, come down, overlap your forearms or make them parallel. Bring your forehead down on your arms. All right, bring your palms back onto the floor. Turn your toes under on the back leg. Lift up, and we're just going to switch legs. Reach back with the back leg. Forward with the front leg. See if this side is easier or harder. You want your back knee pointing down, hips pointing forward, lengthen up in your spine. So you're pressing that back hip forward. You can even place your hand there as a gentle assist if you want. Now, optional once again, you can place your right hand on your right knee, stretch the arm, and then scoop your left arm out and up. See how that goes for you. Reach up and back. And then reach forward. Bend your forearms in. And relax your head down. And continue to work with that hip, that left hip, bringing it down towards the floor. Let's keep aligning. And ask yourself why you're here with your third eye pointing down towards the earth like a unicorn. What do I believe? Our affirmation was, I am safe from all harm. Do you believe it? We don't test the fates. We don't tempt the fates. We do our precautionary measures, taking good care of ourselves. keeping ourselves in safe environments. And that includes being around people that are safe to be around, people that are caring and nurturing rather than hateful or negative. All right, now bring your palms back onto the floor. Come over onto the hip of the bent knee, bring the back leg around. Just stretch out both legs. Bring your palms behind you and roll your hips on the mat. All right, and prepare for Shavasana unless there's some floor stretch that you need right now. If your body's calling for that, honor the sensation. Otherwise, just come down for your Shavasana. Hmm. Allowing yourself to deepen your connection to yourself, your inner self, and the source. You may picture it as coming inward towards your heart, or you may picture it as going out into the cosmos and expanding your awareness. How is it for you? Maybe even some other way that I hadn't thought of. Now start to return to the physical dimension. Just hearing the sound of my voice, any sounds in the room where you are. Starting to move a little bit, stirring. Eventually lift your knees up to your chest and wrap your arms around them. Coming over into sitting. Bringing your hands into your favorite mudra, the one that seems most appropriate in this moment. Excuse me. Sealing in the benefits and perhaps new revelation as far as your beliefs, or at least being open. What do I believe? Do I believe what spirit tells me, my intuition? Or do I believe what people project onto me, even big groups of people? And now just bringing palms into prayer hands, Anjali Mudra, and just reach up in a big stretch, opening arms, embracing the universe, the cosmos, spirit, the all that is, the creator, and the source. And may you sense that connection all the time, giving you that confidence to believe. So, namaste, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being there.
You're welcome.